What's going on? So this week about Special Ed when he went in on NWA and said it destroyed hip hop. He said they made money, but he said it changed the culture. He said we said how we felt with the police and all that. We agree with that. He said, but the way they went about it, the cartoonish way. Yeah, because people don't even talk about Public Enemy like they should. Now, ironically, Q went to work with Hank Shockley and the crew produced those PE records, but it got lost because when NWA blew up, it's their style that took over. So-called gangster rap and that whole imagery took over. And Easy was funding it, and they sold. If they told people that Ice Cube was no different than Will Smith or MIT student in intelligence, people wouldn't even understand because it's selling and the marketing. Yeah, they got a letter from the FBI, but it didn't really mount to what you think because what it was just a show and play on words. It's exactly what the industry wanted. They talk about how they really don't like stuff, but they really do. They love when black folks put each other down and misogynistic and self hating and they promote that. They put it like a message in the bottle sent around the world. So ask yourself, yes, the negative images are there, but who all do they serve from? They get served from a lot of people. They really do. Because if you sell it as a certain way, that's what the industry wants. There's money in it. The more that you fall into a certain type, if you're over sexualized, if you're over, uh, you fit a stereotypical cliche like a plantation mindset, that's what they want. They exactly got served on a silver platter. They couldn't have dreamt this up if they hadn't have tried harder. I forgot what movie that was with the late Phil Hartman, the comedian, but there was like a cartoonish character on NWA. And of course, CB4 Chris Rock was a take on NWA. All that stuff was a take on that. Jerry curls, like bald caps, and dark looks, and looking scary and tough. And it seemed to be a selling point. It was a selling point. Especially Ed was a very talented young rapper. He just never blew up beyond the East Coast to a lot of people. The people in the know remember how good Special Ed was. And I might not always agree with everything they said, but he did bring up a good point. He took nothing away from their talent. No one never said that Dr. Dre wasn't talented what he did. And Ice Cube was one of the greatest rappers ever. However, the facade that was sold, that was used like a genie out of a bottle, it changed. It changed the landscape. I got a funny story. I knew some girls back then in the day because I was a teen back then when that whole thing came out. And some of them girls, they was using that like you play Luther Vandross. I'm like, huh? Or Freddie Jackson, or Babyface or something. Those are like a Keith Sweat slow jam mixed. I'm like, what? Up there bopping that thing, treating it like it's a jam. I'm like, wow. Yeah, it caught me off guard. Because I still remember when they had those cassette tapes and they was playing NWA like it was, and I was caught off guard how acceptable that was a turning point within the culture. It was. Was it used to destroy? Yeah. Because if it turned into a cartoon character, it defeats the purpose of what you're doing. Obviously when Easy got an invitation to the president, the whole thing was plantation based. But see, this is the thing. Nothing since has taken it back. Nothing has since taken it back. And don't come at me telling me that Kendrick is conscious because it took him dissing another black man on a record that got sold and pimped with the agenda. There's nothing that has come along that has not taken that type of element of hip hop back. I haven't seen it. We would need a modernized version of Public Enemy to speak out on some real truths to get it back. It's out, the cat's out the bag. Even if Cube does political based rappers, people only want what they want. They want that one thing. See, the thing about it is this: no one's going to apologize for it because this is how racist the industry is, institutionalized, systematic. You got to be very careful what you put out there, how you say it, how you word it. But the industry loves this sort of thing. That's exactly what they love. They love it because it is the kind of what we call alternative vibes that's what they want. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. And if you degrade and put down, that has been what hip hop has continued to do. That's why it's been garbage for years because of what they got. That's why you got these stripper pole, Meg the Stallion, Cardi B, Sexy Red, Nicki Minaj, look at that trash that's come out. You don't get rappers, female rappers spitting like Latifah did or MC Light. And I don't care if they had Ghost or not. Even a Missy. You don't have a Missy no more. Little Kim wasn't bad, but again, she was sold on the same thing as Foxy was. They actually rap back then. And of course, Lauryn Hill. You don't have Badu. Point is, you don't have that or Roxanne Shante. You know, you had the female. You don't have that no more. Escort and dancing. And this is a product of that. So he was right about what he said. He's one of the few to come out and tell the truth about it because it was used to counter productivity, you know. And what we call elder statesman rap with like, now Ice Cube has taken some parts of it where he's kind of like, but again, you're part of the problem, understand the solution, and they've used it against you. And that's been the split, and it never recovered from that. It never recovered from that. The subconscious got taken over by this lifestyle because that's what the industry plantation wants. And that's what they put money in. And it ain't been by accident. And they sold you a lifestyle that you can look like you a player, spend some records, and say whatever and get over. And that's what they do with these boutique label ran, and they put their little puppets in the window and they sell you that Jay-Z, Diddy, these guys are conglomerates. And Master P to an extent too, because all that stuff is all siphoned Buffalo with NWA situation. They use the Easy blueprint to sell. Luke Campbell did too, Too Loud Crew. You know, out at the same time, don't get it twisted. The whole thing flipped with NWA. There was no real West Coast love, and then they looked at them as corny. Jerry Curl wearing synth, P-Funk Riders, and that's how they branded them. But then they took over. And that played a part. It wasn't even about the music or whatever. It was the lyrical content and that pimp to prostitute, that 304 hustle. That's what we've been dealing with ever since. And that ain't changed in the subconsciousness of the culture. Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.